Welcome back to the program. Well, I was correct. I said by March 1st, and here we are. So I was just getting back from bingo and still have my jacket on. We didn't win tonight, but I know a country that did, and that is Iran. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play the president's speech, and then I will wrap up a very short show.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces, and no longer use their IEDs, or roadside bombs as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Wow. So, my first reaction is the speech was excellent. It was precise. It was to the point. It was emphatic. It was full of patriotism. And it'll go down in history as well. We've been talking about this for a long time. And these people have been suffering for so long. And I am so thrilled, and I have so much joy right now in my heart to know that 92 million plus people are going to be liberated from tyranny. No longer will they have to live under this horrific regime that murders and slaughters and stones to death and quarters and chops heads off. No more. No more. Prayers, of course, to our brave men and women in uniform. May God protect them. May there not be casualties. May this be a swift and successful mission. And the only thing I'll say is there's going to be a lot of voices out there that are already starting to talk about all this stuff in a negative light. It's like the patriotism that we once had after 9/11 is not there anymore. It's just not there anymore. I mean, the U.S. hockey team wins gold in overtime, 46 years to the day of when they did it against the same team in overtime. 46 years ago to the day. And the women also won to the same team in overtime and the same score. What are the odds of that? Number one. But number two, why weren't there parades? Why weren't everybody screaming and being patriots all over the country? This was a huge, huge celebration. And nothing. And that really tells you where we are as a country. And so here's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear that President Trump is starting this war because he's not going to have the midterm elections. That's what the Democrats are going to start running on. They're going to say he's doing this because he's not going to let you vote in the midterms. This is how crazy these people are. And then you're going to have the people on the right, sadly, these disgusting voices that are saying that this is all for Israel and it's not for the United States. I mean, what else do you need to know other than the fact that these animals have been chanting death to America and death to Israel for nearly 47 years? What else? What other validation does anyone need? So ignore those voices that say that we're doing it for this and we're doing it for that. And quite frankly, I've been on record, I've said it 100 times. For the good and the sake of the United States' security for years and generations to come, you're absolutely right. I am so thrilled that we are doing this also for Iranian oil and the control of the oil. Absolutely. Unapologetically am thrilled. Because the entire world is going to be reset. And if you want gas and you want oil, you've got two choices, folks. Saudi Arabia, maybe a little bit with Kuwait, and the United States of America. And who's going to control it all pretty much? 90%? The United States of America. So all this negative talk, we've thrown away the midterms. We're going to be in another quagmire, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq type of situation. All I can say right now is with the amount of money that the United States will be able to have by becoming so wealthy. And here's the thing, here's the difference between Venezuela and Iran. Venezuela was pumping oil, yes, of course. But their equipment was broken. It was going offline a lot. It was being, I mean, they needed a whole new infrastructure. Iran's been just flowing that shit. Just flowing it and flowing it. We can go in there, take it over, and have it flowing. And not take it all. We want to give it back to this new country that's no longer hopefully going to be under tyranny. And you'll have wealth again. Remember, the regime didn't give the oil like they do in Saudi Arabia and stuff, and even they don't give it to everybody. But in Iran, especially, the people were not getting the benefits of being an oil-rich nation like that. So we get it, we control it, and then we give it back to the people, give them that head start so they have financial means to take care of themselves, pick their own leaders, and live their own lives. That's what this is about, too. This is a humanitarian mission to free these people. And it's about the future, which is exactly what President Trump said. He said it's not about the now, it's about the future. And you know what? He's the only one with the brass balls big enough to have done this. Republicans, Democrats, you all failed in the past. You all said that you could contain the program, that you could work with them, that you believe them, that they're not trying to enrich uranium grade proficiency levels so that they can make nuclear capacity weapons. And you sat there and you believed them. You let them do this. You're responsible. President Trump is just cleaning up the mess now, before it gets way out of hand. And that's how people need to think about what is happening tonight. What is happening tonight is securing our future. And I will end on this. Please pray that this is a swift mission, a successful mission, a quick mission, but a devastating mission that ends in regime change for the Iranian people. Also pray that no other countries get involved in this conflict and that it is quick and over. I worry about China a little bit because they're losing 87% of their oil. So I do worry about them. So pray that no other countries get involved and that we can liberate these people and do it quickly and efficiently. And just pray. Pray for America, pray for the Iranian people, and pray for the entire Middle East and the world, that we are now going to have more peace, less terrorism, and more freedom. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.